Hi guys, welcome to this video. In this video, we are going to see a short tutorial on a spinal bend tool as requested by our subscriber. Okay, so let's get into the video. So first of all, I'm just going to create a profile for using the spinal bend tool. So let's get into the part. I'm on a Spot Solid ABS. So now I'm just going to create a rectangular portion here. Okay, like this. And for the dimensions, let me have some rounded value of 700 100. Okay, and then let's go for the extrude, and for the extrude let's go for a minimum value of 10. Okay, you can go with your own values. So first of all, the spinal bend, it comes under the engineering section. So here we have previously seen a tutorial video on the toroidal bend. Okay, so I think you guys have seen that video. Okay, so if you don't know about the toroidal bend, kindly go and watch the previous video. So I will have a deep explanation on this toroidal bend. Okay, so now we are going to see this spinal bend option. So both toroidal bend and spinal bend, so both are similar, but when compared to toroidal bend, spinal bend is somewhat easy, and as an important tool, I will use spinal bend mostly when compared to the toroidal bend. Okay, so for the spinal bend, first of all, like the same for the toroidal bend, we have done a solid part, and then we have to create a spine, right? So according to the spine, our solid part will move along that. Okay, so now we have done a solid part. Okay, so for the spline, we have to create the pathway of our sketch. Okay, so before that, let me get into the spinal bend. Once you get into the spinal bend, you can see the first option that we have to select is the bend geometry. The bend geometry is nothing but the part which we have to bend. Okay, so you can't able to select a particular extrude or anything, like you have to select the option. And now you can see when you move your cursor along to this, you can see this has been not selected as an extrude. So this will be considered as a body. Either you can select this surface like this, or else you can open this and you can select this body. Instead of this, you can directly select here also. Okay, if you have multiple options in here. Okay, so now here we have a lock length option, and here we have something, we have these kind of things in the extrudes and revolves, right? So we have same similar of options here. So we have to use this once we imported our sketch for the spline. Okay, so then when we get into the reference tab, here you can see we have to add the spline here. Okay, so here in this spinal bend feature, we can't able to add the spine in here. Okay, so we have to add the spine separately on a sketch mode. Okay, so now here we have a separate rule for the spinal bend here for creating the spine. So in the toroidal bend, if we create a sketch for our spine line, there we will use the coordination system to start our sketch, right? Okay, so whenever if you are going to create a profile here like this, if you are using toroidal bend, you will, if you need to bend this into a curvature like this, you have to add a coordination system in here, and then from the center point of the system you have to start the curve like this. So in toroidal bend you will do like that. Okay, so in this spinal bend, directly you want to sketch on the center plane. Once you get into the sketch view, okay, so now you can create a spline in whatever direction you want to make it. Okay, so but here also you have some sort of rules that you want to follow under this spinal bend for the spine. Okay, so here you don't want to add any kind of coordination system for your sketch, but here you want to start your spine by a straight line. Okay, so let me take two examples. So for first case is, I'm just going to start a line like this. Okay, and then I'm just going to draw some couple of arcs. So I need my path to bend like this under the spinal bend. Okay, so now if I'm just going for the spinal bend, so here I just have to select the bend geometry, right? And then on the references, let's go for the spine. If I selected this spine, you can see the path as not, you can see, right? So it like this is the pathway, but you can see how our path has been like this, right? So this is not the required shape, right? It's because you have drawn a slanted line to start your sketch, right? So this is not like we have to do. Okay, so let me just undo the operation and let me just delete the sketching here. Okay, so now let me just go for the second case. So this is how you have to do for the spinal bend tool. Okay, so now you have to start your line like this. Okay, you can stop up to this also. Okay, so now then you can start creating a pathway to how you want to bend this part. Okay, if I click on OK, now we have done our sketch. So let's go for the spinal bend. Here we have to select the bend geometry, and under the reference we have to select the spline. Okay, so now if I selected the spline, you can see like the part hasn't gone for this pathway. Why? Because the direction should be on the straight line. Okay, so now when we flip the direction, you can see the flat surface as like bend along with the pathway. So you can see the first case, in the first case we haven't used a straight line, we have used a slanted line. So the result is, you can see like we have a pathway here and the result is towards the top. Okay, so now here we have done a straight line and we have created our pathway. Now you can see the part is bent along to its position. Okay, so now let's evolve the main tools whichever we want to use under the spinal bend. Okay, so here basically we will use this main option. These two are very important option. Okay, so the first one is log length. So what is the log length option? Because here you can see our first profile we have done here, right? So you can see the line here. So this is our rectangle, so that length will be 700, right? So the length will be 700, but here the curvature, you can see the curvature length, it will be around 1000 or 1200 definitely, right? So the 700 is like up to this, but here you can see the bend geometry is bigger than the previous geometry. So anyway, the flat surface has become as a curved surface along to the curve that we have drawn. If we click on this log length, you can see the curve has been stopped at a specific point. But why? Because the line that we have drawn, the section we have drawn previously, that have a length of 700 length and 100 width, right? So the length of 700 as calculated for this curve, and it has been stopped at the level of 700. Okay, so this option, if you want to create any particular part, okay, according to the dimension, if you want to have this curve to a length of 1000, you want to draw a rectangle up to the length of 1000 and you want to create your curve like this. Okay, so I think you guys have understood. So this is the use of log length, and you can undo it. Okay, if you don't want to use the log length option, you can unclick it. So now here, like I said before, here you can see we have some couple of options here, like these dimension we have, like these tools and these what can we say, like these images that we have seen previously on the extrude and revolve tool operation. But here this entire thing will be different here. Okay, so it's not about the symmetric or two next or up to the selected surface. It will be similar, but here the tool the operation may be different. Okay, so now the first option is, here you can see bend the entire selected geometry from the spine start. So here you can see from the spine start, the part will be bent along to the axis. Okay, so then you will have under this, you have log length and log off option here. Okay, so this is our default option. So when you get into the second one, okay, so here you have one more option. So what is that is, you will have a profile along your curve, but after that you can able to adjust the length of the part. Here you can extend the part up to wherever you want to, along with the tangency of the previous curve. If you have a straight line like this, the line that the part will be created according to the line towards straight line. Okay, it will be a tangent feature like this. So here you can able to manage the length by adjusting here. Okay, here you can also reduce that and you can also increase that. Okay, so the next option here we have is, whenever you see a red line in here, we have to select the surface. So up to the surface we need the part to be extruded or to be created. Okay, so if we select a surface, you can see the part has been created up to the selected surface. But here we don't have any specific surface, but if you have any separate model over here, you can select that surface and you can extrude that up to. Okay, so this is how we can use this. Okay, so particularly we will use the first option, and here we have a lock length option, so that is what most of them will do. Okay, so now in the next case we will see, like here we have a like a normal extruded thing, right? So let me just make it as a complex part. Okay, so let's see how it works. Okay, so I am just going to add 1 and 2 3. Okay, let me just mirror it. Okay, and okay, diameter, okay, that's fine. Okay, let's extrude this. So I'm just going to extrude this to a value of 10 to make it clear, and I'm just going to pattern it. Okay, so make it as a, sorry, this is not a direction, sorry, this is a direction part, and make it as a 30, and let's make it as a 20, and let's see whether distance is correct. Okay, the distance is good, so we have to add some more number of like let's go for 25, it's high, so let's go for 20, 23, and let's reduce 29. Okay, okay, so this is the profile that we want to bend here. Okay, so now if we go okay, let me just where is the sketch, so we have to bring that. Good, so now let's go for the spinal bend. Here let's go for the bend geometry. So here you can see you don't want to select everything, we can directly select here itself, or else you can go for the bodies. Under the bodies you can able to see the body one, you can select like this also. Okay, and here let me just select the spline in here, and let's switch the direction. So now here you can see the flat profile with some extruded parts as bent according to its geometry. So right, so this is how you want to use this part. And here also we have a lock length option. Okay, so according to that profile you can see now the circular parts have a like a close to each other, right? So when I unclick this, you can see like this is somewhat expanded, right? So this is the normal length and normal height and normal width of the profile. Once you unclick this, you can see according to this curve the part has been bended and the part has been extended. Okay, so this is how you have to use the spinal bend tool. I hope you guys have understood. Okay, so thanks for watching guys. So we will see the next video with a very interesting content. Until then, bye.